when you put it together, I tell you straight that the prophecies I've quoted about Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, are much more clearer than the prophecies that Christians point to about Jesus. It's much. You like to laugh, but I think you should read Hosea 11. Dr. White pronounces it in such a way that it sounds like, yo, this can't be Muhammad. Mahmadim. 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 Mahmadim.
Song of Solomon, chapter 5. Your listeners might be familiar with the book of Song of Solomon, and the Song of Solomon is a piece of poetry. It's written by a bride to her to-be husband. And she writes in verse 16 that his mouth is full of sweetness and he is wholly desirable. This is my beloved and this is my friend, O daughters of Jerusalem. And so it's a celebration of the love that God has ordained in marriage, and it's drawn from the speech of the bride, reflecting on her love for her lover.
Did not take Song of Solomon out of context. Dr. White keeps saying it's talking about Solomon. I've got a source that mentions that Jews seen it as a future person. Also, how can it be talking about Solomon when, according to Jews and according to even Muslims, Solomon was one of the most powerful people in his time? Yet, if this is one of his women, what does this mean? Making their rounds in the city, the sentinels found me, they beat me, they wounded me. Can you imagine King Solomon, the most powerful on earth's wife, getting beaten up? No, there's a lot of stuff that indicated to people this is talking about a future person.
And in describing this love, the bride says that his mouth is most sweet. And the Hebrew term there is mamtakim, which means most sweet. And there's a parallel between mamtakim and machmadim, which, and the second term that I said there is a form of kamid, which means desirable thing, and it's used a total of 13 times in the Hebrew scriptures, and it's used here in the plural, and it's used it is used intensively, so it hence means most desirable. And it's being used descriptively of the husband. And of course, Mahmadim basically sounds somewhat similar to Muhammad, and Muslims often, by ignoring the problems inherent from moving one language to another, which is a whole other issue, they move from Mohammedan to Muhammad, which sounds similar to Muhammad, finally concluding that here in the original language we find Muhammad.
Dr. White pronounces it in such a way that it sounds like, yo, this can't be Muhammad. Let's hear a rabbi recite and ask yourself, why did God put this in the text?
And so if every appearance of this term is a reference to Muhammad, this is the problem. You have to argue that so if you read, for example, if you read in 1 Kings chapter 20, verse 6, or I'm turning in my Bible, you read, this is in the context of Ahab's war with Syria. And he says, nevertheless, I will send my servants to you tomorrow about this time, and they shall search your house and houses of your servants, and lay hands on Muhammad and take it away. That's the interpretation you would come to if you take the Muslim view. Also, if you turn to 2 Chronicles, in chapter 36, where I'm turning, if you go to verse 19, it says, and they burned the house of God and broke down the wall of Jerusalem and burned all its palaces with fire and destroyed Muhammad. So you run into all these. I'll give you one more. Isaiah 64:10. In Isaiah 64:10, we read, your holy cities have become a wilderness. Zion, a wilderness. Jerusalem, a desolation. Verse 11, a holy and Muhammad house where our fathers praised you has been burned with fire, and Muhammad become ruins. So if you're going to argue that Muhammad is the correct translation there, you have to argue that that Muhammad is also the correct translation in all those other passages, and that simply isn't the case.
Do not think I haven't seen Dr. White's material before. Everybody was laughing at most of Dr. White's points. Oh, Muhammad thrown in the fire, etc. Well, Dr. White, I'll challenge you. Show me one place, anywhere in the Bible, where the word Muhammadim appears. It appears uniquely in Song of Songs, chapter 5, number 16. I've got the quotations for the Hebrew. None of them read the same. All Dr. White is doing is looking for words that come from the same root word and trying to say, look, the same words here. But Dr. White, do you not know we can do that with David's name too? Shall I start quoting David's name in Ezekiel 23? The context will look kind of ridiculous. And also another thing to show everybody that Song of Songs chapter 5 verse number 16 is unique. Every other passage that the Christians claim that Muhammad is found, if you translate it into a name, the sentence doesn't make sense. In this one passage, the sentence still makes sense. Another coincidence.
No! What? No!
can't show me Jesus was walking around with Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. He wasn't. Those things didn't exist at Jesus. He wasn't walking around when he started preaching and said, oh, let me look at Matthew and Mark.